Good evening, good evening, good evening, Can anybody hear me? Awesome. I don't think this PA is doing anything at the moment, but the internet may or may not have sound on the internet. I'm going to ask Aaron for an update. Who's not here? Doug Battelle. Doug Battelle, are you on the internet? Okay, perfect. Thanks, internet. And thanks for such an attentive room. I thought this would be a meeting of about 4 people tonight. So welcome, everybody. Tony, welcome. It is November. Contrary to the email that I sent today, this is not the October meeting. We're not going to relive October. I think for everybody's sake, getting past Fall Fest, however delightful that is, it's a lot of work, and we're past it at the moment. So thrilled to be. We got timers going off everywhere. I don't know what Brian's in a tizzy at the moment, but nonetheless, we're thrilled to be here. It is November. It is not October. It is almost December. It is almost 2024, and I can't believe it. So what's been going on? I'm really hoping Brian's working on this music right now. I think he probably is. So today we're making some strides with AMBC HQ, the warehouse and the house that we're working on right now. Our crew sort of shifted some attention over to that project. And you might say, well, why in the world would this house be of any importance to AMBC? And in the short term, it's really important to us because in January, we did get approved for an AmeriCorps NCCC work crew. So they're going to be living there starting in January. So they're going to join us for a month of work over there. So our crews was doing a little work on paint and some trim stuff today. We also had electricians and some HVAC guys working over there. So, and as soon as the NCCC crew is out of town, that will actually go on the market and be help us to essentially offset our costs for our warehouse space that we have on the same property. So that's what's going on over there. But we're super excited to have the NCCC crew in town for a month. They're going to be tackling invasive species along the urban wilderness corridor. And so we're going to start at IMES, and IMES is going to be working with us. We got to get this music off. Sorry, it's bugging me at the moment. Tom's going to work on this for me. Thank you, Tom. Won't take long. Nonetheless, we're going to work with IMES to do some invasive management training with the crew that hits the ground in January. We'll be working on the corridors very similar to what our crew worked on along Flow Trail last summer. So you'll notice kickback of all the invasives within the trail corridor, making it a lot easier for us to get good sight lines, better long-term maintenance solutions for out there in the woods. And we're going to be doing that along the South Loop corridor, hoping that we can essentially tackle about 2.5 miles a week with that crew. And they'll be saddled up with our crew and just really going to town out there the month of January into February. We're excited. We're going to be able to welcome them to our January monthly meeting. So hopefully you get to meet the entire crew while they're here. And also hopefully we get to show them around our town. You know, it's nice to have some visitors from out of town. We're pretty good about being good hosts, so we need to live up to that when the crew comes in. Other projects that we've been working on. So I was out at Concord this afternoon, or actually this morning. Tony just tilted his head. Sometime around noon, walking a bunch of flag lines over there for our project that's going to get kicked off hopefully in January sort of time frame. We're working with Chris K. Meyer to get our bid documents together because that's going to go out to bid. It'll be up on our website mid-December, I'd say, and then we'll be getting input from various builders who want to work on that project over at Concord. And the intent is to basically have all those trails on the ground come 1st of June. So psyched to have that project in the works. We've got the initial trail plan up online that's been up there for a bit. We're making some modifications based on existing ground conditions, feedback from Tony and the crew that manages all the trails over at Concord. So other trail work that's in progress right now. You may notice on our website each day when Dave updates the trail conditions, there's a note about Sharps Ridge right now. And so we're doing AMTB modifications on Lincoln Trail, and honestly, just a slight refresh on Lincoln Trail. And that is not the entirety of Lincoln. That is the original Lincoln on the downtown side. And so you'll notice some sandwich board signs that just say, hey, trail closure ahead, just respect those and turn on around. If the signs aren't there, continue on. That section of Lincoln is open and continue as usual. But I went out and Shaggy was digging away today. It looks great. He's gotten some moisture here recently, which is super helpful. But he's making great progress over there. There are going to be a couple of different, you're going to experience the trail differently when you get back to it. It's going to feel wider initially, and it is a smidge wider in some spaces. I'd say we blew out close to 8 to 12 inches on parts of it. He's put in some side hits from here to there. We've reworked our drainage on that trail. And we're also going to rework some of the steep pitches and off-camber turns. So it's going to be a much better experience after he finishes up that project. Speaking of AMTB riding, that project was born out of the desire for Catalyst Sports, who's a programming partner, to have more access, essentially, to the outdoors. And so something that they did for us just last week was they got our entire crew out on adaptive mountain bikes, and we went for a ride over at Baker Creek and spent the better part of a morning out there and just had a blast on their equipment, seeing how it performed, like turning radiuses, how they perform on even on jumps. Shaggy kind of took it a little hot on cruise and may have ended up upside down maybe once. But nonetheless, the equipment is incredibly capable. I think that was one of our takeaways, is that the equipment is pretty incredible at this point. And so most of their, just about their entire fleet is e-assist at this point, which makes the hills really manageable at this point for a lot of the riders. And so I just want to say thank you to Catalyst and thanks to the crew for taking their time to sort of broaden their horizons on their on how they can affect AMTB access. So we also, let's see, what else happened this month? Oh, merch. I went shopping yesterday. I went over to REI. Lewis and I met up with Tom over at REI. I shopped for my father. He saw my new garb at Thanksgiving last week and was ho-hum about sure he missed the festival this year and just didn't get his merch. And so nonetheless, I hooked my pops up. I hope he's not listening. But REI has all of our merch right now. And when I say all of it, they got everything. So if you missed out on a wool sweater or a hat or any of the new stuff, REI's got it. Remember that, or don't tell REI this, but we get all the money from that. Every single penny of it. They are losing money on this because they're giving us the space in the store. We're super appreciative. Tom, thank you. It's amazing. They even asked my dividend number when I was at the counter. So if you're a member, you get dividends. Yeah. And it all goes to. Yeah. So not only is all the profits going, but you're still going to get your normal REI dividend. It's a win-win-win for us and for you. And we're just thankful that REI has us at the table. Another AmeriCorps news. We're going to be welcoming our second AmeriCorps team member in January. So we're picking up a second team member in January. Casey's out of here. Casey, did I not tell you that? Oh, I'm sorry, bud. Yeah. No. Casey's awesome. Casey's going to be with us. He claims 2 years. We're going to see if he commits to that second year here in a little bit. But we're thrilled to have a second team member coming on. And that team member will essentially span over if we typically have a gap in our AmeriCorps team members. And so it's going to be helpful in that case. So in January, we'll be welcoming Francis on the team. And he'll be hitting the ground mid-January. So should be at our January meeting. In other news, when you guys get home, pull up the link that we're going to pop online this evening, which is a new report from the, I'm going to read this because it's long, Baker Center for Energy, Transportation, and Environmental Policy. So they published a report today that basically is building off of some early work that they did on urban wilderness economic impact. And I'll just say that the short story, $24.9 million to the annual economy here in Knoxville. Trails mean a lot, and it's not just trails for mountain bikers, it's trails for all. And it does make a huge difference. It's a pretty neat report. It's how long is that report, Wes? Maybe 5 or 6 pages? It's totally digestible, but they've got a summary on the first page on the left if you want a short synopsis there. Yeah, they got great photos. Yeah, I think that all the bikes were of current years, honestly, which is pretty unusual for reports. They were color, and they were 29-inch wheels on there. Crazy, but that must mean it's all right. So disc brakes and everything. Yeah, no igloo helmets. So recap, I do want to touch quickly on Fall Fest. Thank you so much to everybody here, everybody who put their heart and soul into putting it together. The team of bosses did amazing. This year went off with very few hitches. We estimate over 3,500 people were in attendance, more than 25 states, similar to last year. Huge support from our business community and making sure that, we had awesome shops involved. Great support from Harper Automotive as usual. TVB and Transition came to the table again this year, and we just really appreciate all the support for that and all the volunteers. In addition to that, I mean, every single person on site had a smile on their face during their volunteer shift. Andrea and Courtney did a fantastic job recruiting and having over 120 volunteers just Saturday. And it's crazy. And then just for everybody who shows up, it always blows my mind. And I get to see everybody for like 2 seconds, if that. But just to be able to step back for a minute and think about what you guys have done to build the community is amazing. And everybody deserves a pat on the back for that. So everybody should do that, or pat your neighbor's back. So yeah, round of applause. With that, I'm going to hand this microphone that I think is doing something over to Madeline. Where's Madeline? There's Madeline. She's got some Joyride updates. There you go.
Thank you. Hey, I'm Madeline with ABC Joyride, and I've got 3 things to talk about, so hopefully I don't forget them. Great. Thank you. The first is a Joyride recap from Fall Fest. We had over 88 women participate, which is incredible. So thanks to everybody who participated. Thanks to all of our volunteers. We couldn't do it without you. It's incredible how many volunteers come back time and time again for Joyrides, and we just really appreciate you guys. The second thing is we're going to be sending out a survey to everyone who's participated in a Joyride in the past 2 years to get some feedback on what you like, what you don't like, what we can improve on. Just getting ideas from you guys about what y'all want to see next year. And then we're going to start working on more programming from that survey. So be looking out on your email. So you should be getting that hopefully next week. Number 3, all of the big Joyrides for next year are on the AMBC calendar. So please look at that online and go ahead and mark your calendars because we would love to have you guys participate. The first one's going to be February 11th at Loyston. It's going to be our annual Galentine's Day ride. So we'd love to have you, and we're going to get the registration for that posted soon. So, yeah.
Link to the calendar? Yeah, so Tom was just reminding me that Aaron's going to post a link to our calendar, but you can always get to that at ambcknox.org/events. And then you can subscribe. And it just sends it to your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar. It's amazing. I get lots of reminders for those things. All right. The moment that a lot of people have waited for is the Checkpoint Awards. Oh my goodness. So Rachel and Dan put together a fantastic checkpoint this year. Lots of travel involved. I know somebody calculated how many miles they need to drive to get to the miles they need to ride. That was an engineer that did that. They didn't report back on how far that was, and the funny thing is they didn't submit their passport. But nonetheless, we had a ton of great entries into the checkpoint ride this year. I always love looking through the photos because, a lot of these checkpoints, we do just require a selfie. And some of them have a selfie within a selfie if you're riding with a partner. And but just seeing the smiling faces out there on the trails and various systems, seeing Thunder Rock Express and seeing the overlook at, I'm used to seeing the overlook at Big South Fork. But this year, Raccoon was on there. So, the iconic vistas of mountain biking were certainly present in this year's checkpoint. And I've got 3 winners for this year. I don't think we have any repeat winners. But nonetheless, Will Howell, so what happens is all the checkpoint riders go into a pool, right? And then the random number generator works from there. So I'm not saying Will had the most checkpoints by any stretch, but nonetheless, Will was the first one on the number generator. So he certainly gets credit for that. Will, what was your favorite checkpoint this year? Far East. All right, there you go. Excellent. So we also had Missy Petty was a winner this year. And I just want to put a plug in. Missy, what was your favorite checkpoint? Okay.
A big ride with a friend who had been there and showed me all the lines. So that place is really rad.
That's cool.
But it's really black.
Yeah.
Like you want to go with someone who's ridden.
Yeah.
And you follow their line.
All right. So phone a friend in Chattanooga and get a tow in at Walden's is the moral of that story. So that's great. And then also, I know Matt and Tim were riding with Edian. Is that correct? So Edian is also a winner this go around. So I'm going to contact all the winners, and we'll get their prize packs put together. What I like to do is try to get their favorite trail in town, and don't tell Wes this, but I use an old City of Knoxville Urban Wilderness sign and give it to him. So nonetheless, it's good. It's a good appropriation of signage. Chris, you've got an AYC update for me, right? Excellent. With swag. It's not Christmas yet, Aaron.
Right. Part 2 of my thing. No, just a real quick update with the AYC group, Appalachian Youth Cycling, that we're done with our summer season, and all the NICA and everything went well and was great. So now we're into the winter, or the alt season. And, these kids that can ride through the winter are really great come spring. So we do have group rides going, not during the week because of the daylight issue, but we have the first and third Sundays of each month we have up on our schedule with group rides of all abilities. And then on Thursday nights, we do night rides. So bring lights and come out and play in the cold. So, so that's what we got going with the kids. A couple adventure rides. We're going to Snake Creek. We're going to Paint Mountain, taking them to Norris. We already did, Rich Mountain and Parsons last weekend. So just trying to get them out and have fun on bikes. So the other part was the merch. So sporting the t-shirt, and these are for sale. So this is our fun drive. So we had a lot of great support from the community. A lot of bike shops, local businesses chipped in to help us produce these so that we can raise some funds for the kids. So they are for sale. You can find them at TVB and at the Bike Zoo. They have a run of our shirts. So, and socks from Stoke Signal. So come out and support the kids. So.
Awesome.
There we go.
And thank you for your leadership within AYC. Again, ambcknox.org/AYC on that front. All right, so Trail Crew update. They spent quite a bit of time cleaning up from Fall Fest. They're actually heading behind Shaggy every few days and doing handwork on Lincoln Trail, so they're sort of keeping track of what all's going on over there. And then, in addition to that, a much-needed time off, honestly. So Trail Crew's taking a couple of comp days and enjoyed the Thanksgiving holiday. So thank you very much to the crew. That's Casey, Warren, and Dave. Yay. Events. We've got a few things going on before the end of the year that I wanted to remind you folks of. First one being this Saturday, 9 to noon, Sharps Ridge Workday. We're going to meet at the top of the hill at the very end, okay, at the top, basically top of Nightfall. So come on out, join us for that. The deal is just as usual. Bring yourself, bring a friend or a neighbor. We'll have the tools. We'll have food and beverage afterwards. And in addition to that, AMBC Social Rides is going to do a ride after that, probably start up around 1 o'clock and do a loop or two around Sharps. They're going to need to sort of hike around the machine on Lincoln, but other than that, it should be a good day for a ride over there, regardless of conditions, because as we know, Sharps is good. Not our event, but pretty important for Knoxville bicycling culture. Tour de Knoxville, or Tour de Lights, sorry. Faux pas. Tour de Lights going down December 9th. It's leaving from the Civic Coliseum this year. So dress your bike up in lights. Get over to there. I think the ride leaves at 5:30. That's a Saturday. I do know that. And it's a delightful tour of Knoxville on a bike with a bunch of friends. And just get as festive as you want. I know you can get your get up judged if you want to enter into some categories, if you really want to go all out. But nonetheless, that's put on by Bike Walk Knoxville, supported by Visit Knoxville, and is going to be on the 9th. The day after that is going to be our holiday soiree, and that is what we do in lieu of a December meeting. So we want everybody to come out to Baker Creek. We're going to meet at Crafty right there at Baker Creek. We've got that in the courtyard. Courtyard space. We've got some appetizers that 71 South is going to whip up for us. You'll be able to order food from either 71 South or from Crafty. And I've been told there is not a Papa Shot. There's a potential for a Papa Shot. Oh, wait, we got confirmation right now in the room live. There will be Papa Shot. There's also going to be a ping pong tournament, and there will be gold sprints. So may want to time your drinking according to your slot for the gold sprints. But nonetheless, that is happening on December the 10th at Crafty, at Baker, from 6 to 10 p.m. So you'll also have an opportunity. We'll have a small selection of merchandise over there. If you need to pick up some last-minute gifts and can't manage to swing by REI, we'll have a couple of things there for you to pick up. With that, does anybody have anything else that they want to chat about tonight? If not, Shaggy's looking. Shaggy's got nothing. Shaggy's got nothing. Hopefully Shaggy can feel his legs after being on that machine this morning. It was cold, folks. Cold out there. All right. Well, we will not be doing this meeting in December. We will do this meeting in January. So we'll see you in January here, and we'll see you before then at other locations. The only other thing you're going to notice on our social media towards the end of the year is going to be an end-of-year giving campaign, number one. And number two is going to be the ride at Big South Fork on New Year's Day. So keep that in mind. It's the mail run. It happens every year. It happens regardless of the weather. So plan to be there. With that, toodaloos. Thanks to Southside Garage. Tip your bartender.